Ryan O'Connell's special is back for season 2 on Netflix, and this is where we unpack the series. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Special Unpacked with me, Phil Marriott, and Sean Vickers. We're providing you with, episode by episode breakdowns of the final series of Special. Ryan O'Connell's baby, it is back for a second series and sadly the last one. We've been reviewing episodes 1 and 2. If you haven't checked out those videos, do so. The links are down below. It's episode 3 today, Sean. A great series, I think, to unpack this one.
It's fab. Hi, everyone. Love it. A lot happening in episode 3. A lot of things that made me smile and laugh. We met some real arseholes in this episode.
Oh, we did, yeah.
I think it's a good one to talk about.
So the episode is called That's the Way Boys Are, written by Liz Elverenli, directed by Anna DeCosa, who is doing the whole lot, I think, like she did with season 1. So, she obviously knows this style. She knows the story. Ryan O'Connell wrote the very first episode, but we've got other writers doing the others. So Kim and Ryan organising Kim's birthday party at work because it's free, the event space, obviously at Eggwoke.
It's actually quite a big space. I mean, if Olivia offered me quite a big birthday space at Eggwoke, I think I'd take it. I know it's loaded. The key thing for me was Olivia's constant karaoke as the trade-off for the space. I mean, kind of love it in a way. I'm slightly obsessed with Olivia.
What was it? It was Hands by Jewel, wasn't it? She was singing. I said to you before we started recording this, I'll never be able to hear that song again without actually thinking of Olivia doing it. It was so awful. It's like that TV show that's on at the moment on BBC. Is it the BBC or ITV? I can't remember. It's
but you know what, Phil? I'm a bit of a weirdo in these kind of things because when things are really awful, I kind of get into them. There's a moment in Glitter, that Mariah Carey film, where there's a character called Silk played by Padma Lakshmi, and she starts singing really badly, and I'm a bit like, oh, it's kind of brilliant.
It's like the musical version of Shabby Chic.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, ooh. I'm like that meme that goes.
We did need that comedy as well because it's a pretty depressing outcome for Kim's birthday party because she's my favourite character in this. Well, one of my favourite characters. I mean, there are lots of them, but yeah, she's a standout for me, and she so deserved better.
Oh, the truth. Yeah, it's emotional, isn't it? I mean, she has expectations of Harrison, and I don't think he's delivering. But I think, and I feel he could step up. Yeah, she gets the gift, but in some ways she just wants him.
Yeah, because I think she's not really into that whole material thing. Obviously, she wants the shoes. And
I want the shoes.
Oh, don't we all? Yeah, exactly. But I think she wants companionship as well. But yeah, we'll come on to that because it starts in such a great way with Olivia, talk of the devil, in the office, handing Ryan a to-do list and not actually handing him the to-do list, just dropping it. Just dropping it, so he has to pick it up off the table. But one of those requests on the to-do list is to tell Olivia that she's thin.
I mean, it's lols because it's Olivia, but it suggests that he's gone down in her pecking order. You know, think about end of season 1, gets made, freelancer, not done a lot of content or not the content that Olivia wants, and the next thing he's on the kind of like go get the frappuccinos.
Exactly. Also, in this episode, we see Karen meeting Phil's new girlfriend, Susan. Tonya is in this episode quite a bit as well. I love this character. I don't know about you, but I find her so wrong. She's right.
Well, she's such a device, isn't she, Tonya? She's set up to aggravate. And so I think you get, we'll talk about a little bit more about Ryan and Tana later, but you get this situation where you've got Susan, who's Phil's new girlfriend, you've got Karen, who's Phil's ex-girlfriend, and then you've got Tonya, who's a meddler.
She's a hugger.
And you just put all that into a Mexican restaurant.
I love that line that she uses, I still identify as childlike because adulthood is a trap. It's brilliant. I might use that one.
not disagree.
Yeah, we'll come on to the restaurant scene because that is just priceless. I mean, again, so awful, it's brilliant. But yeah, we also see Tanner confessing that he's never had feelings for anyone because he's always hooked up for sex, pretty much, because he's in that open relationship. He's seeing Ryan. It is quite complicated. But yeah, he seems to have fallen for Ryan, which is good, but ultimately bad, as we see the episode kind of veering off into that territory.
Yeah, it's like a 2-speed one, this one, because it obviously starts in the previous episode. Ryan had this kind of very problematic hookup with Mark. He's thinking about his relationship with Tanner and what that means. He can't have Tanner the way that he wants him, and so he's kind of framing this breakup. And what transpires is that Tanner's kind of into him, and yeah, as you say, it's new territory for Tanner and also for Richard. Yeah,
and we see Tanner being really sweet again and being really understanding and caring, and also giving Ryan the space to explain, because obviously Ryan's had to explain all of this before with various people in relationships, but we see that awkward sex scene again where Ryan's fumbling for the condoms and Tanner asks Ryan to top him, and it's kind of like, it's awkward, but then it becomes a really tender scene because you see Tanner saying, "Oh, let's go under the sheets," and that's where they have that conversation, and it's making Ryan feel really comfortable and able to talk about things in a good way, not in having to explain everything, but just to be really confident with that.
It's just this thing that we talked about in episode 1. There's a lot of respect there, and I think there is something interesting here about their relationship, because I think the reason why Ryan is so into Tanner is this kind of balance and respect. And they talk about things. I mean, I think the topping seems great because it's just no nonsense. Like it's what happens, right? And the way that it's directed and it's shaped is great. And then this idea that there is an uncomfortable moment, and the way Tanner dissolves that uncomfortable moment, as you say, which is like, let's get under the sheets and talk about it. I think he's just great. I'm a massive 2 thumbs up for Tanner.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about that scene then, the restaurant scene. Karen and Tonya go to dinner. Phil and Susan arrive. Who knew that, one restaurant, obviously, where they live, because they're both there. And yeah, very awkward. I mean, Tonya puts her foot in it, as she always does. And that's what made this scene so brilliantly comic as well. I mean, it was so awkward. Susan's biting on the crisp, and she's saying, "Oh, you were lovers? Interesting." Some real home truths there.
It's mega orcs, and what I always think enhances the mega orc situation is a full mariachi band.
Yes, I mean it's so farcical, isn't it? So deadpan.
That's what I want. Whenever I'm in a really awkward situation, I want basically like a 12-person mariachi band. Yeah, that whole situation. But I think at that point you start to see Karen start to push back, and I think we've seen Tonya take the piss a little bit, quite frankly, over the last episode or so, and you start to feel Karen push back, which is the right thing here. So yeah, interesting their dynamic in their relationship.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of comedy in this episode, actually. I mean, there is a lot of darkness as well, but that moment that Kim receives the designer shoes through the post, that wail is everything. It's like... Only she could deliver it.
That will be a meme. Turn it into a meme. We think about that triangle between Susan, Phil, and Karen, and then you overlay, as I said in the previous episodes, this is all about comparisons, and then you overlay Tanner, Richard, and Ryan at dinner.
Oh yeah, I mean, your first impressions of him, I think, are the same as me. That that moment when Ryan walks in and brings the wine, obviously to the meal, and his response was pudding wine. My favourite vineyard. It's like, you just want to slap that smug face so hard. Just smug and snobby. Horrible.
Yeah, well, he's got that kind of... I didn't warm to him.
Passive aggressive.
But I recognise that person.
Don't we all?
I recognise that gay guy.
Oh, we've all seen that gay guy.
Oh, I couldn't possibly eat that. Oh no, remember when I holidayed?
Yeah.
I get it. We all recognise that person. And I think that's partly why Tanner warms to Ryan. Because Ryan's got no airs and graces. Ryan is just like, this is me. I'm kind of unvarnished in a way. And Richard's this kind of like older gay man who's a little bit up himself.
Almost like a smiling assassin as well. He's kind of a bit fake with it.
Well, he's just a little bit patronising and condescending to Ryan, which is like the wine is one thing, and then to say, "Oh, I might use your wine in cooking." I mean, don't be a dick.
And he does that toast as well. Cheers to this being weird, but not as weird as it could be. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? It's
like, thanks very much.
Awful.
I mean, the only thing I did gag on was they talked about orange wine, and I love orange wine. I'm a massive orange wine fan, so I was like, ooh. They've already talked about Sky Ferreira, and now they're talking about orange wine. They've read my mind.
Did that influence you to actually, get the bottle down you?
I don't need much influence in Phil.
So yeah, Kim's birthday party. I mean, quite a depressing affair, like we said earlier, for Kim, who deserves so much more. Nobody was there. I think it was, 4 people, and that was Olivia, that kind of hogging the limelight.
Quiet, and Olivia's really belting out the numbers. It's the bit where she's like, anyone else? No. I mean, again, what an icon. The ultimate gift for Kim is for Harrison to be there and be there for the night, and Ryan's off at this Orcs date with Richard and Tanner, and so she's kind of lonesome dumb. She's kind of on her own, and it's because she's such a fan favourite. It's what you don't want on her 29th birthday, right? I
know, yeah. But I love that karaoke scene though, just brilliant, comedy gold. So we see Karen and Tonya back home arguing about that scene in the restaurant that we spoke about earlier, and this is what really annoyed me about this episode. Tonya was eating Ben and Jerry's, and whenever I see people eating Ben and Jerry's, I just want the whole carton, and I didn't have any in. True. Never had any ice cream in, but yeah, of course we see Harrison breaking up with Kim as well at that party.
Yeah, there's something here about there's a weird thing, because he's kind of left her out on a limb on a very special day. She then does that kind of, I don't want to say needy text, because I don't think they're needy. She's just a bit like, what's going on? Where are you? He then, it's that thing where words travel badly. He then gets this flourish of things saying, you need to be here. And the mood and the tone is off. You never come back in that instance, you never come back from a good place, right? Because everything, the cards are stacked against you. And I think that's what you get here as Harrison turns up to the emotional karaoke, as I'm calling it. He's also reaching out and saying, trust me. You've got to put some trust in me, I think she's naturally wants to push away, and he's got his own things. He's got his own stuff going on, like all humans. I think that's what I like about this show. No one's like one-dimensional. Everyone's got their own story. Everyone's got their own narrative. Everyone's a human being. And what comes with that, the baggage and the foibles,
Yeah, definitely. Karaoke always provides the laughs, though. I mean, it's comedy gold, like I said earlier, Kim and Ryan singing to Lil Kim's How Many Licks. Just brilliant. It's the funniest thing ever. So deadpan to begin with.
As some of you may know, because you may see me at karaoke bars, I often find myself at a karaoke bar every Sunday in central London, Soho. I'm now inspired for some new songs. See,
this is such a wasted kind of platform for you, really, in so many ways, because you haven't done that yet on this.
I haven't. Never say never, Phil.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that comes at some point. Maybe we'll do that at the last episode.
Maybe it'll be a special.
Yeah,
maybe I'll just sing for an entire episode. Let's see how that will end. So
this episode ends with Ryan heading back to his mum's for some home comforts, pretty much. A nice hug. And, I've got to say, with the episode 1 and 2, and this one also, that they're ending in a really poignant way that not only makes you want to watch the next episode, because that's obviously the cliffhanger, that's the trick, isn't it, to do that, but also, they make you think about things, and they are quite poignant and bittersweet in a way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the fact that Ryan and Karen reconnect, I had a real warmth to it. I was really happy about it, and I think it's because we're invested in the characters, and that's where I think Ryan O'Connell's really clever. Like, you invest in the characters because they're real, and they're written from the heart. So yeah, I think ends in a very poignant way.
Yeah,
frames episode 4 very well.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing the rest. It is an 8-episode series. We are almost halfway through. Don't forget to join us for the next live premiere, so you can join us in chat and we can all discuss what we think of the series so far.
Maybe I'll sing.
It's good to talk.